The MLM industry lies have been exposed. Documented proof that the MLM industry has never fulfilled on its promise of long-term residual income for the masses. Hello, my name is Jason Fisher, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to contradict what every old school MLM guru and all the new MLM internet marketing gurus are saying. But I don't care. You need to hear this. I feel I have the right to speak about this because I've made millions of dollars during my 11 and a half years in the MLM industry, all before the age of 27. I built an organization of over 5,000 distributors, only to be left with 56 people ordering in the end. And what I found out by talking to other former industry leaders, their experience has been the exact same thing. This video will explain exactly why this happened. So let's get into this. The truth is that the marketing methods are not the real issue of why the majority of people fail to earn long-term residual income in MLM. The majority of people failing to earn long-term residual income in the MLM industry has nothing to do with not having enough leads. It's a much bigger problem than that. It has to do with the business model. And the MLM business model is flawed by design. Even if you have a huge circle of influence, if your business model is flawed, you will fail to earn long-term residual income. Even if you're successful at internet marketing and you can attract thousands of leads, if your business model is flawed, you will fail to earn long-term residual income. Here is the main reason why the multi-level marketing business model is flawed by design. There are many, but this is the big reason. The multi-level marketing business model fails to deliver on the promise of long-term residual income because the products and services fail to compete with similar products and services in the real marketplace. And in most cases, the products and services are things people never purchased before. The top multi-level marketing companies, the ones that have reached the billion-dollar mark, have proven this by their failure to succeed in winning market share in the United States. And we're going to prove that to you with documented statistics. Here are some preliminary evidence showing that the multi-level marketing model fails to deliver on long-term residual income. Let's look at the granddaddy of them all, Amway. They did $12 billion in sales last year worldwide. Amway started in 1954, so in the 50-plus years of them being in business, they're only doing 5% of the sales in the United States, which equates to $600 million. The other 95% of their sales volume comes from the other 100-plus countries they do business in. That's $11.4 billion outside the United States. So while Amway, the company, has made a lot of money, where is the success of the Amway distributors in earning long-term residual income? All of the other billion-dollar multi-level marketing companies show the same thing. Most of them are doing just a few $100 million here in the United States. They're all escaping internationally to keep the sales volume coming in. But that's not what creates residual income. This is why smart network marketers are leaving the multi-level marketing industry in droves. And it isn't just our opinion. Think about it. When was the last time you've seen a multi-level marketing company hit $300 million a year in sales in the United States and then continue to grow for the next 3 consecutive years? And where the majority of the sales volume was being consumed by the end-line consumers, not just the participants involved with the opportunity or from the high entry fees that are paid by the new people joining the business. You can't point to a single multi-level marketing company in the United States that has done that. Now, many have exceeded $300 million in sales outside the United States or Canada, but it's all new volume, not the volume that's created from customers coming back each month. Remember, the multi-level marketing industry pitches residual income. Stop listening to all the so-called industry gurus. We can prove to you that they don't know what they're talking about at all when it comes to building reliable long-term residual income. How many of them have been in 4, 5, or 6 deals or more, still chasing the dream of residual income? How many of them have left the industry and now are just selling tools and systems to generate leads? The real reason they left is because they realized there is no long-term residual income in multi-level marketing. In knowing this, they still promote that MLM is a great industry, and this is because they've gone on to sell marketing systems and tools that teach network marketers how to generate leads, since there will always be a demand for leads because the attrition is so horrible in the industry. If you're watching this, you obviously are looking for answers on how to create real residual income. If you're going to create long-term residual income, you can't have the kind of products and services that the multi-level marketing companies promote. You can't be selling $40 bottle of juices, the $100 a month anti-aging skincare cream, expensive weight loss products, or the expensive cup of coffee. And you can't be offering services like gas and electric where there's no real savings, and in some cases costing more versus their local energy providers. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that if you're selling $40 bottle of juices, $100 plus anti-aging skincare cream, or the expensive weight loss products, the expensive cup of coffee, or any other MLM product or service, you will eventually see your business implode. Even though I had years of making a lot of money with my multi-level marketing business, I reached the tipping point where everything began to fall apart. I had over 5,000 distributors in my organization, which I mentioned, but in the end I only had 56 people that were actively placing an order, not because of my effort, but because the business model itself was flawed and destined to fail. Because of this, I lost my house and my business that I worked so hard to build. After seeing everything I worked so hard for fall apart, and the tremendous emotional pain associated with that, I began searching for answers to long-term residual income. Here's what I can promise you. If you know what to look for in a business, you can save yourself years of work, struggle, and effort, and you will enjoy the benefits of true residual income. Imagine earning $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, or $20,000 a month or more in reliable residual income. How would that impact you and your family? What would that mean to your sense of financial security? What options would you have that you don't have now? How would your priorities in life change? Because that's what we're talking about here. Now that I and many other former MLM industry leaders are clear about what is needed in a business, we are enjoying true residual income to last a lifetime, not a lunchtime like in MLM. The reliable residual income has given me a sense of financial security that I didn't have with my MLM business. And it all happened because I was willing to analyze the fundamentals of what creates residual income. Not knowing about this information sooner cost me 11 and a half years of earning reliable residual income. The worst part for me was not only did I miss out on the years of reliable residual income for me, but I was unable to keep my promise to the people that I cared about and loved to help them create long-term residual income. At this point, I had two choices. I could either turn my head and give up on my goal of earning lifelong residual income and let the 11 and a half years of experience go to waste. Or I could take my experience and go and figure out the problems, and more importantly, the solution to earning lifelong residual income, which is why I joined the MLM industry in the first place like we all did. What matters now is that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. So what was my big mistake? I was involved with an MLM business, and I've now learned that there is not one MLM business that has produced long-term residual income, and I will prove that to you today. If you get what I'm going to cover in the next couple of minutes, your life can seriously change forever. So get a pen and a paper handy, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what I discovered when it comes to building long-term residual income. First, I had to answer the question, why do people join in the industry in the first place? After surveying that question out to many people involved in the industry, what I've come to realize is there are only two reasons of why people like us join these type of businesses. The first reason is that they want to own their own business. They're sick and tired of the corporate world. They don't want to have the headaches of having employees or the overhead. The second reason they join these type of businesses is to create real lifelong willable residual income. This is really the main reason. This is the big attraction to the industry. That's why I joined. That's why you joined. But the residual just isn't there. Something came to me after I figured out the two reasons why people join these type of businesses. It's this lifelong principle that nobody can break. I can't break it. You can't break it. They can't break it in China. They can't break it in Australia. And they're certainly not going to break it here. It's that the world is made up of the 80-20 rule. 20% of people do something, while 80% of people don't really do too much. Bring me 10 doctors, or 10 lawyers, or 10 cab drivers. I'll show you 2 that shine and 8 that don't do too much. And it's the same in multi-level marketing. Then I ask myself, well, what makes these businesses work? It's numbers. We all need numbers on the board. It doesn't matter what company you're in. Amway, Herbalife, Visalis, or Ambit. Numbers equal orders, and orders equal residual income. So the question is, who's going to have the most numbers on the board? The difference is what happens after people get in. And the truth of the matter is that 80%ers are going to quit in almost every MLM business and become zeros on the person's business report. Then I started thinking, well, who are the 80%ers? The 80%ers is my mother, my sister, my next door neighbor, the average person that doesn't have any sales experience, doesn't have a lot of tenacity, doesn't take a lot of action. They really don't do too much. The 80-20 rule needs to be applied very differently within the MLM industry if our goal is to create long-term residual income compared to the way you might apply it to any other industry. Let's look at the 80-20 rule in the traditional sales industry. Let's take a real estate or a mortgage or any other type of sales office. In a traditional sales office, the 20%ers produce the majority of the sales volume for the office, and the 80%ers don't produce much. In these type of businesses, it's all about a few people producing a lot. Remember, in the traditional sales industry, it's not about residual income. It's about the one-time sales. It's all about the 20%ers, not the 80s, since they aren't going to produce much. This is when the clouds parted for me and the problem and the solution became very clear. In the home-based business industry, for it to work and create long-term residual income, it needs to be about a lot of people producing a little bit, which are the 80%ers. The 80%ers must be creating the majority of the sales volume. But understand, the majority of the sales volume that the 80%ers are creating is not from the 80%ers producing sales, but from the 80%ers just consuming the products and services month in and month out. The 20%ers bring the 80%ers on the board, but remember, the long-term residual income will come from the month in and month out consumption of the 80%ers. These are two very different type of industries. Some people that don't understand this concept will say you just need to keep recruiting up and find the 20%ers in multi-level marketing. And don't worry about the 80%ers. This thought process is completely wrong when it comes to producing long-term residual income. Remember, it's about having a lot of numbers on the board active. Running the home-based business industry like the traditional industry will not lead to long-term residual income. If the 20%ers are always producing the volume while the 80%ers are leaving out the back door, it will never lead to long-term success. So then I said to myself, if the larger part of anyone's organization are going to be the 80%ers, I got to find an 80%ers business, something the 80%ers can do. When we look at the landscape of all the MLM deals, what we see is that they are all 20%er deals, where the only ones ordering in the end are the 20%ers who are ordering to stay qualified to earn commissions. The 20%ers are the only ones that can justify expensive luxury products at prices that don't compete in the real marketplace and services that don't save the customer any real money. Remember, it's all about numbers. Only having the 20%ers will never create enough numbers on the board ordering long term to create lifelong residual income. There wasn't enough value for the 80%ers to stay and reorder every month, whether they made money or not. This is why the attrition is so bad in multi-level marketing, and the industry has never produced lifelong residual income. The problem is when the 80%ers don't take action and they don't start making money right away. In their first 30, 60 to 90 days, they quit. And at that point, they stop ordering the product or service associated with that opportunity. Why? Because If it was a product-based company, the 80%ers budgets changed to the tune of 120 to 200 a month, and in most cases, they were products they never bought before at prices they would never pay long term. Even if they were products that they were already buying, if the products don't compete on price compared to the real marketplace, the stores where they are already shopping at, they won't stay ordering long term. And in most of the MLM businesses, they're asking the participants involved with the opportunity to purchase more than what they would normally consume on a monthly basis. In a product-based company, you also have the very few that had life-changing experiences on the products that are still ordering. But take a look at my past experience. I had 5,000 distributors, but in the end, only 56 people were still ordering. And only 3 or 4 of them had life-changing results. Still not enough numbers to create long-term residual income. In a service-based company, there wasn't enough savings for the 80%ers to stay long-term, even though it was a service they were using before joining the opportunity. Also, many people just switched services to do their family and friends a favor. In services, it all comes down to price because there is no emotional attachment to a service. It all comes down to this. You can't be changing people's budget and asking them to buy products they never bought before at prices they would never pay long term. Or you can't be asking people to switch already existing services where there's no real big savings to do so. So having luxury, overpriced products or services with no real big savings compared to the real marketplace, not the fictitious MLM marketplace, does not create long-term residual income, period. That's the big secret why people don't create long-term residual income in multi-level marketing. Once we figured out that we needed a business that the 80s could do on 2 levels, we knew we would create massive success. First, we needed to find a business where the 80%ers can actually make money, where they didn't have to justify luxury overpriced products or services where there really wasn't much of a savings, because they're not really capable of doing that. We knew if we found this, we were going to have a major hit. And now here's the ultimate. We said if we could find something for the 80%ers where there was enough value to stay and reorder every month, whether they were making money or not, then we knew we were going to have a huge home run. We finally figured out what you must have in a business to earn lifelong residual income. This information has come from decades of experience of many top industry leaders who have built large organizations only to watch them fall apart. That's what we will talk about and go into great detail in the webinar you're about to register for. During this webinar, you are going to learn about 12 specific elements that must be in place if you're going to keep the 80%ers on the board long term. When all 12 elements are in place, you will have discovered the secret to long-term residual income, just like we have and many other former top MLM industry leaders have. You will finally get to enjoy the time and freedom that you've been promised before, and you'll experience the peace of mind that comes along with true long-term residual income. We were looking for our last business, not our next one, not the next new sizzle product or service, not the next new hype deal. We were looking for a home. We were looking for a business to last a lifetime, not a lunchtime. We have people all across the country that are joining us on this webinar. This information has been attracting many people who are new to the industry, as well as many current and former top MLM industry leaders. So please register now and reserve your seat so you can hear the information that can change your financial future. This information 7 years ago has literally changed my life and the lives of so many other folks. I appreciate your time, and we look forward to seeing you on the webinar.